Good afternoon, everybody. I am Leilani Castillo here with Collide Digital, the one-stop shop agency. Welcome to our first webinar event. The team and I are very excited to be joining you today.
Hey.
So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. We want you to get to know not only our team and how we work, but I want to give our founders an opportunity to kind of give you all a little bit of a backstory and how we started. Dennis, Steven, go ahead, feel free.
So I can take it from here and start us off. So thanks everyone for joining the call today and learning a little bit about Collide Digital. One of the first common questions we get about our team is how we get started, who's part of the team, and why we do what we do. So our story is a little interesting. We started in 2016 between a partnership between myself and Steven. The agency primarily focused on running paid advertisement through Facebook and other ad agencies, just like Google Ads. And as we grew, we saw that there was a lot of demand for other services, such as web design, graphic design, and other digital marketing services. From there, we grew our team in early 2020 to expand to the team that you see here today. We're really proud of our team and our mission, which is to provide online digital marketing to companies of all sizes. We really believe in helping small local businesses because our parents are actually local small business owners themselves. And it was really important for us to provide the services that we saw that they needed, but were afraid to approach or were not having access to. So for us, we believe that every business, big or small, should have access to really high quality digital marketing services. We live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so we see a lot of our colleagues go off and work for huge multinational companies such as Facebook, Google, Netflix, things like that, and take their talents to these big companies, leaving behind small businesses to figure things out themselves, figuring things out like setting up Yelp pages, Google pages, Facebook ad campaigns, and all these things that's really important for a business to thrive in today's marketplace. Our focus has always been to provide a very straightforward pricing, things that are accessible, while maintaining the quality that we expect from someone that our parents would want to hire. And that's really important to us when we built our team, and that is to bring on people that share the same value. And that's really why I'm really proud of the team that we put together here, because our values all align and we want to make sure that everything that we're doing for our clients is in their best interest. So one of the things that we really set us apart from other agencies is that we have upfront affordable fees for all of our services. We don't charge by the hour, we don't charge by the project. We set a monthly fee, and that's what you pay for our a la carte system. So let's say you need a website or digital marketing or paid ads, you can break those things apart. You don't have to do everything together. And if you do something like a website, there's no upfront huge fee, $10,000, $20,000 to build a website. We operate on a model of affordability and high quality. So that's really what sets us apart. And we really believe that this is something that's important for businesses, all big and small. Anything you'd like to add, Steven?
No, I think you covered pretty much everything. I think the thing that really drives us to do what we do is that we get the same joy from helping small businesses adapt to everything that's going on in the digital age today, because we see the same joys and success coming from them that we get from helping our parents. So along with all of the technical stuff you just mentioned, that's really what forms the core of our business.
Thank you so much. Again, now that you know a little bit more about Collide and what we do, now it's time to meet the team. Teamwork makes the dream work here. So let's go ahead and dive in and get to know the rest of our team. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Steven. Go ahead, Steven, and let me know when you're ready for me to change your slide.
Right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the intro, Leilani. Again, my name is Steven. I am the co-founder and the paid ads strategy manager here at Collide. A little bit about myself. I started off at UC Berkeley, where I studied psychology. I never really wanted to get into marketing. One of my things was I wanted to become a teacher. I really liked working with people and understanding their behaviors and learning how they engage with other people. When I graduated, I took a last minute intern job at a small marketing company in San Francisco. Here is kind of where I got a taste of all things corporate and tech, and kind of really got my feet wet in the whole marketing industry. One of the things I learned to do here was code, and this is where I really became super interested into anything digital, anything on the internet. At my time here, I worked under an expert in the Facebook ads field, and when we were working there, I was basically his assistant. But because we worked so closely together, he taught me everything he knew. Eventually, he ended up leaving the company to start his own in New York. So he asked if I wanted to join him. In the beginning, I was extremely hesitant to do so because I was fresh out of college and didn't really want to leave a stable job. But I took the risk, took the jump, and followed him. During my time there, he really took the time to train me and teach me all his secrets and teach me all the tricks of the trade and marketing. Eventually, Dennis convinced me that the skills I had learned were good enough to do our own thing over here in the Bay Area. So that's when we started Collide Digital, and we started off just kind of helping, like you said, our parents at first, and then friends of our parents, and then friends of friends, and then eventually we realized that this was something that we could provide to just everybody who needed it, because we saw a huge need for it. A lot of a lot of businesses were still kind of stuck in the old age, basically, and like you said, weren't able to figure out how to set up simple things like a Yelp page or a Google page, and even more complex things like a Facebook ads campaign. So that's what I enjoy helping people do. Next slide, please. So, like I said, I do manage the Facebook paid ad strategy here. And one of the things I enjoy most about being able to do this is being able to take an extremely complex thing like Facebook ads and break it down to a really easy to understand and relatable level, right? Because Facebook does make it easy for people to start their own ads, but they don't make it easy for people to be successful at ads. And that's where I really come in. In the beginning, I wasn't successful at it either, but it's one of those things where the more you do it, the more you get better at it. So I've been doing this for almost 7 years now. And, in the first 3 years, it was really a rough journey. But I think in the last 4 years, I've definitely become an expert in it. But I wouldn't say, I've mastered everything. We're still learning every day. So I really enjoy being able to share my experiences and knowledge with our clients. Next slide, please. So a quick and dirty analogy of how Facebook ads, and I think this is honestly probably the best way to describe the entire flow behind Facebook ads, is running Facebook ads is like dating, right? So in the beginning, when you're dating, you never want to just ask someone to marry you on the first date. Very similar to how if you were trying to get someone to buy your product, you wouldn't just walk up to someone and say, hey, buy my product, right? Because they don't know you, they don't know anything about your product. Unless you're selling the cure for cancer, then they're not going to be very convinced, right? So what do? You introduce yourself, with some high-level branding content. Right? You say, hey, my name is Steven. I'm a really cool dude. I'm funny, I'm smart, et cetera, et cetera. And if they like you, then you go on a few dates. And during these few dates, you get to know them. You tell them a little bit more about yourself, what you're selling, right? Hey, this is my product. It does this and that. It can help you with this and that. So you get to know your audience more, and your audience gets to know you more. And eventually, after several dates, is when you get the opportunity to ask them to marry you, aka you sell your product. You ask for the sales, like, hey, would you like to get married? Would you like to buy my product? Would you like to sign up for my service? And I think that is a very quick and dirty explanation of everything, but I think that one analogy captures the entire buyer's journey, all three phases of it: awareness, consideration, and conversion. And this is, you know, a whole strategy that a lot of marketers follow, and I think, you know, is extremely effective.
Just kidding. Next step, we have Dennis. Go ahead, Dennis.
Dennis, I think you're on mute.
Dennis is, I did the same thing.
Oh no. Okay, cool. All right. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Dennis, co-founder here at Collide Digital. I really enjoy working with my team and really growing this business alongside Steven for the past 4 years. Really proud of everything we've built. So I want to give you guys a little background about myself and, you know, kind of why we got started a little bit more into detail. So I graduated San Francisco State with a degree in marketing, 2013. During that time in college, I was working all kinds of jobs, internships, retail jobs, restaurants, just kind of getting my feet wet and trying to make some money. But my real first job was an internship at a company called drbase.com. At this internship, I worked under a serial entrepreneur. He, you know, started companies, sold them, got venture capital funding. All those things really seemed really interesting to me. And I was able to work under him for 6 months, learning the ins and outs of search engine optimization and online marketing. So that's when I really, found my interest in marketing, specifically digital marketing, because I felt it was something that I was very comfortable with growing up in the digital age, growing up with computers, playing video games. All those things really, I felt, set a good foundation for my professional career. Following the internship, I graduated and got more jobs, more specifically into the healthcare industry. So I worked at a couple of eye care companies. The first one is OptiView, and then Nidec, and then a laser company that made lasers for the aesthetic market. So I got a lot of experience working in big tech companies that made really complex medical devices. And that really helped me try to break down complex products and complex services into really simple marketing messages. And that's what really helped us here at Collide Digital. We really get to know our customers and our clients about their business, about their complex situation, and then break that down into simple, actionable steps. In 2016, I was working at Nidec, but I was very unhappy with myself, given the long commute in the Bay Area. I was driving a good 3 hours a day in my car, or I was riding a motorcycle at the time. And this one day, I was just totally fed up with it. I was riding the motorcycle, it was raining. And during the middle of that, I was thinking to myself, man, why am I doing this to myself? Putting myself through this rain, this cold, sitting in traffic. And at the same time, I actually was living with Steven in a shared house. And I saw Steven working at home on the couch, doing something that he really enjoyed doing. So, after we were talking, we decided to say, hey, man, let's just take this crazy idea that we had of starting a marketing agency and run with it. We're still young. We're still able to take risk. And, it worked out. So really happy about all that. But like I said, like Steven said, in the beginning, it was just us talking to our parents, asking what they needed. And then from there, we started slowly building up our client base until to what it is today, where we're bringing in fresh new clients that we have no connections with. And in that time frame as well, Steven and I were able to also develop our own personal businesses. So in 2016, I started Collide Digital with Steven. In 2017, I helped my mom open up a hair and nail salon called Bella Hair and Nail Salon in Hayward, California. And we actually recently sold that business in January 2020. And now she's able to retire comfortably, just hanging out. So I'm very happy about that. I helped my dad start up his, or expand his landscaping company. from 2 employees to now 6 employees, and he doesn't actually have to work. He basically manages the team, bringing in sales, and I bring him the leads. And then in 2019, I started up a car washing, car detailing business with my brothers, because that's a hobby that we have and a passion that we have. Just working on cars. We've been washing cars and fixing them up since we were teenagers in high school. So we're like, hey man, why not do something on the weekend for fun and make some money off of it? So we started Hella Clean Cars in 2019, and we've been pretty successful with it. We only work on the weekends, and we're pretty full every weekend. And that really, all these services, the thing that I've learned that helped me also with Cloud Digital is providing excellent service for a great price. And we carry that through to all the businesses that I work with and all the businesses that I personally own. So I'm really happy about all that. Next slide, please. So what do I really do here at Cloud Digital? According to my mom, I don't really do anything. I just sit on the computer. But to my coworkers and my team members, I do 2 primary things here at Cloud Digital. One is I work on the strategy and I onboard the clients, and then 2, I help with the design of all the marketing materials and just kind of lead the vision to help Talia and Steven and Oscar and Kaylee come up with the right marketing plans. So with any small business, you need to have a strategy, because if you don't have a strategy, you're kind of shooting in the dark. You don't really know what the goal is. You don't know where you're starting. So without a proper strategy, you're not going to know what success looks like. So what I do is I help small businesses come up with a marketing strategy that best fits their budget and their goals. So at Cloud Digital, we offer a lot of services. We offer graphic designs, websites, Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, all kinds of things. And a lot of businesses, they think that, they want to be in every single channel, every single time. But realistically, that's not going to fit with most people's budget. Most people have a pretty reasonable budget, let's say $1,000 a month on paid advertising. With the $1,000 a month, yes, you could be on 5 different advertising platforms, but realistically, with a budget that's so spread out, you're not going to see much results from all 5 of those advertising channels. So what we do is we do our research and we find the advertising channel that will give the best bang for the buck immediately, because we want to be able to show you that you can get a return on your investment right from the start. The second thing that I do is I help clients understand their pain points. A lot of times customers or clients come to me and they tell me that they have issues with their business and they're not really sure why they're having issues with their business. So after talking to them for a couple of sessions, we try to figure out what it is about their business that's not successful. Most of the time, when I talk to entrepreneurs and business owners, they're great people. They have great services, but they're just not understanding why they're not successful and why their competitors are successful. Most of the time when they talk to their competitors, they give them a very vague answer like, oh yeah, I run Google ads and it's been great for me. But that is just one part of the puzzle. Anyone can run Google ads. Anyone can get great results. But is the results that they're getting and the leads that they're getting, is that good quality results? Does it cost a lot per lead? And those are the answers that I help business owners try to figure out is, are you getting enough leads? Are the leads good quality? Do the leads cost go in line with your services? And what are your experience with the digital marketing in general? The second thing I do here that on a high level is help with the design. So basically what I do is I work with clients to figure out a design style that fits with their industry and customer expectations. A lot of times business owners have what I call a design bias, where they think a design should look a certain way. In reality, customers expect to see your website and your marketing look a different way, because that's what the rest of the industry looks like. So with our research on our team, we basically help businesses follow industry standards in order to effectively communicate their message and just not distract people from what you're trying to sell them. And also use of consistent branding will help customers and businesses create trust amongst potential customers as they start to see you more and more online. So the best example I like to give is the Coca-Cola example. If you see the red background with some cursive letters on it and a polar bear, you don't even need to say Coca-Cola. You can basically say, okay, I know that brand, I recognize it, that's Coca-Cola. And that's what I try to really emphasize to businesses is, the use of consistent branding will help you build trust with people over time. That's why you see commercials on TV and on YouTube that plays repeatedly. You see it every single video. That's because they're trying to build that trust with you and let you know that they're a reputable brand. Next slide, please. So to go deeper into this whole strategy idea that we subscribe to here at Collide Digital, I like to basically say that we all recognize that traditional marketing is really inefficient. Things like cold calling, direct mails, trade shows, those are things that used to work, but not anymore. They're very expensive, they're hard to measure, and businesses are just moving away from that. Customers hate it, so why keep doing it? People keep doing it probably because these other agencies are really pushing for it and giving good deals and whatnot. But for us here, we use digital marketing because we want to be able to measure our cost and the investment that you put into your business. One of the big philosophies here that we subscribe to is what we call inbound marketing, where instead of buying email list or cold calling, we create offers and lead magnets to attract people to your business. And through what Stephen was saying, through what we call lead nurturing, we basically help you turn those leads into customers. We also believe in using marketing automation to scale a business. Many of the business owners that we work with are a one-person team. It's people like my dad who, handles the sales, handles the customer service, manages the team. He doesn't have time to send out emails, text messages, reminders, book appointments, all these things that big companies do. So we've built our own platform for marketing automation to help small businesses scale their operation. So by automating text messages, by automating emails, by automating quotes, things like that are very simple for a computer to do, you're able to scale up your business and free up more of the business owner's time to do other things. Also, the next point here is to do social media because that's more important now than ever. People spend, 3 to 4 hours a day on social media, browsing through YouTube, Facebook, and all these very other channels. So if you're not on these channels, you're losing out on hundreds, if not thousands of potential customers and potential people who may be interested in your business. These huge multi-million-dollar companies were built on top of TV ads, newsletters, classified ads, and those are all things that are being replaced by social media. So if these companies were really successful doing that, why aren't you doing what it is now? And the great thing about social media is it's really accessible to small businesses. With, let's say, $10, you can literally reach 1,000 people. That's totally unheard of in the advertising landscape until now, basically. And in order to stay ahead of your competition, a business must always continue to test new platforms and new messaging. What worked for you a month ago, a year ago, may not work for you today. And that's why, we work with businesses in a long-term relationship because yes, these ads that we set up for you this month were great. They performed great, but people get tired of it. It stops working. You got to come up with new ads and new messaging and new videos and new images. And those are all the things that, the team here at Collide Digital do for our clients is we're the one who's thinking of this. We don't make you think of all these messaging and then, we just put it on your page. We're always constantly looking at the data to make sure that, your ads are still performing the way they should be. Next, please. So here at Collide, one of the things that is really important to me personally is that we don't design things just to look pretty. I have a personal bias against overly designed websites. I think that they're very distracting. They don't really get the point across, and they're just, you know, they're great for branding, right? But for someone like a small business, like a doctor's office or a restaurant, really not really getting your message across is really important, more than it is about the brand and the design, because you really need to design with a purpose. You need to be constantly looking at the data and making sure that your design is not distracting people and not, you know, leading them to something that you don't want them to do on your website. We also believe in the design iteration process, where we come up with ideas, build prototypes, and then analyze the data and then rebuild and redesign as needed. And then the fourth thing here is we want to make sure that the design of your marketing material and your website matches the customer's expectations and industry standard. So let's say if, you know, the industry standard is to have a really basic website where you, like say a restaurant, where you expect to see a menu, you expect to see hours, you expect to see address, but the business owner says, I don't like to put my menu on the website. I don't like to put the pricing there. You know, those are things that we strongly advise against, because that's what people expect. You know, just because you have you know, your own biases and your own opinion on things, it shouldn't get in the way of, you know, your business. And that's where we really want our clients and our customers to really trust us as their marketing team, because we are doing things in their best interest. And a lot of the times, you know, it's really about the trust on both sides. I'm done.
Thank you, Dennis. And now that we've had a little overview of, you know, the paid ads, the design, the strategy, how about you tell us a little bit more about what you do, Kaylee, and why content is so important?
For sure. Thank you very much for that lovely intro, Leilani. My name is Kaylee Shearing. I am excited to be the content marketing specialist for Collide Digital Media. Just a quick background about my work history. I graduated from the University of Toronto with an honors double specialist in English and philosophy and a minor in history. I also have about half a dozen various different certifications in social media, digital marketing, and content strategy. My work history, I've worked predominantly actually in the entertainment industry, although my very first job was actually working on a goat farm. Before you ask, I've never done goat yoga, but I've known enough goats personally to be able to highly recommend it. My most recent gig before joining Collide, I was actually working as an entertainment lighting technician, predominantly but not exclusively for Canada's Much Music. So I've done lighting rigs for everyone from Billy Idol to Lizzo. I've also worked as a stage manager. Throughout university, I worked for the Toronto Public Library System, which is the second busiest library system in all of North America. I ran a student-run coffee bar when I was in college. I've also worked with thoroughbred racehorses. I taught English in Costa Rica, and I've been a freelance writer since 2019. Also, all throughout college and shortly after I graduated, I spent over a decade at North by Northeast, which is Canada's sister festival to the much more famous South by Southwest Fest out of Austin. So I've done everything from booking bands to doing accounting, managing registration. When I started, a press kit was like an actual collection of CDs in an envelope. And now, just like marketing, a completely digitized process, which has been phenomenal to watch. And this was actually where I was sort of first introduced to the idea of content. Next slide, please. So what I do at Collide, or what does a content specialist do? It's a pretty kind of open-ended, diverse job title, which is one of the best things about it. But in my role at Collide, I predominantly manage our team of freelance writers to produce content, which is very readable, relevant, search engine optimized, of course, because if you're not on Google, where the heck are you? We produce a lot of written content. We also produce ad copy, press releases, videos, newsletters, email automations. If you can write it, we can do it. I also edit, I do a tremendous amount of editing. I'm very picky. Edit for things like syntax, structure, factual accuracy, which is huge. It's very, very important to us that our clients receive top quality written content that reads well, because if people don't want to read it, why are you writing it? It needs to demonstrate brand authority to let people know why your company is so exceptional, resonates well with the audience, and of course, gets found on Google. But more sort of philosophically, I view my role as basically trying to understand. My job is to understand our clients, their companies, the challenges that they face. We need to understand the industry as a whole that they're working in, the changes and challenges that that industry is going through, and more importantly, the customers that they're trying to sell to, the audience that they're trying to speak to. What are their lives like? What are their problems? How can we help? And how can our clients help fix problems for people? Next slide, please. Why content matters. This one is very close to my heart because a lot of people always ask, well, why does content matter? Why can't I just pump all my marketing money into running ads? Well, because ads will only generate you a return for as long as you're willing to pay for them. Good content is one of the best investments that a company can make. It can continue to generate revenue and results long after the invoice has been paid. One of the foundational things that content does and why it matters so much is content creates relationships. And you may not think of that when you're, posting a blog post or something, but there have been hundreds of studies done. I've referenced just a handful of them here. 70% of consumers say that content marketing makes them feel closer to the company, like an actual emotional resonance, which is amazing that someone can feel that with a company that is, as far as they know, just a corporation, not even a person. And 82% of people feel more positively about a company after reading custom content. As long as you're trying to offer them something of value, something that matters to people, 82% of people right away will really like you for that. So content is a really good investment. Even something as simple and easy as the company blog, 67% more leads go to companies who have blogs than companies who don't. Like, what could you do with 67% more leads? That's phenomenal. And in terms of comparing content and digital marketing as a whole to traditional marketing, it just blows it out of the water. 6 times more conversions for content marketing alone than with traditional marketing efforts, and it costs 62% less. I'm a words person. I'm not a mathematician, but even I know those numbers are pretty good. Next slide, please. All right, how content works. So content itself is a sometimes frustratingly large and diverse field because it includes pretty much everything that you as a company put out there. It's your blog, your email campaign, ebooks, social media posts. Social media is huge as a content generation and distribution tool. Webinars, this webinar you're in right now, this is content. Welcome to our content. Podcasts, YouTube videos, online courses, quizzes, you name it. Content is absolutely huge. But it's not the quantity of the content that you produce that matters, it's the quality. And this is what really matters to Collide, because here at Collide, something we take very closely to heart is to create content with intent. It's publishing garbage doesn't really get you anywhere. It has to be, considerate, well thought out content that again is designed to help people and speak to their problems. So we prioritize very strong SEO keyword research. We'll even, go so far as to strategize this research, starting out with easy target long tail keywords and then kind of niching down into more competitive but shorter keywords. We religiously practice optimization best practices, all totally white hat, both on page and off page. Optimization is really important to get your content found. We also integrate content with social media campaigns for consistent messaging and a cohesive customer experience. we even take this one step further, newsletters, things like that, everything all comes back to content. No piece of content exists, nor should it exist, in a bubble unto itself. It's all part of a greater content web. And so something that I think, again, we do a lot here at Collide, and for any small business owners watching this, if there's one piece of advice I could give you when it comes to creating content, it's to think with your heart. Content, like Collide, like good business, it's about people, and it's about helping people and building relationships. It's not about search algorithms or social metrics or how many likes or retweets or whatever's you get. At the end of the day, it's about helping people and striving first to understand your audience, to have empathy for their problems and their struggles, and then to create content that helps them in some way and sets you up as a brand authority and as a trusted resource. And I know from my experience, when it comes to getting top-notch quality content created and researched, Oscar is definitely my guy.
Thank you, Kaylee. Now, what a perfect segue and introduction to Oscar. I mean, we've talked about the paid ads, we've talked about design, strategy, content, but, you know, like Kaylee said, if you're not on Google, then where are you? So Oscar is gonna go ahead and tell us a little bit more about what he does, how he does it, and why it's so important for businesses. Go
Thanks,
ahead.
Leilani. Hello, everyone. My name is Oscar Labrador, and I'm a digital marketing specialist here at Collide. A little bit about me. I'm a self-taught digital marketer who is passionate about helping business owners generate leads and sales through paid advertising and other digital marketing tactics. I currently volunteer as a digital marketing specialist for a nonprofit organization that helps underprivileged children gain access to quality education. So we've helped children in Philippines, Cambodia, Haiti, India, and many other countries. And I'm also a US Navy veteran. So, yep, next slide, please. So my topic is about Google Ads. I will explain what Google Ads are, why is it important for business owners to advertise on Google, especially during the pandemic, and how to properly track conversions to make sure that you're getting return on your investment. So what are Google Ads? Google Ads is a service offered by Google to business owners so they can easily promote their products and services on Google search. It basically helps you as a business owner to get in front of your customers as soon as possible when they're searching for products or services similar to yours. It's also known as PPC, or pay-per-click, meaning your ads can be seen by thousands or millions of people, but you only pay when someone clicks your ads. According to a recent study conducted by WebFX in the beginning of this year, Google is still the #1 search engine with 91.54% of the market share. And to put that into perspective, that's more than 5.8 billion searches per day, and that's a lot of eyeballs. So that's one of the many reasons why Google Ads is one of the best, Google is the best place to start, one of the best places to start when trying to reach your target customers online. Next slide, please. So why advertise on Google? #1 is their detailed targeting capabilities. You can target customers based on their keywords they use to search on Google. You can target them by ad location, meaning your ads can show up on the websites that your customers go to, like the banner ads. And then you can target them by age, physical location, their target or their language, specific days, times, how often you want them to see your ads. And you can also target the specific device that they're using, such as mobile phones, desktop, or iPad. So Google gives you that flexibility when advertising, which is great. And according to a study conducted by Clutch, they surveyed over 1,000 customers, and what they found is that 90% of those consumers said that the ads influenced their purchase decisions. So that's a pretty big number. And the last one is buyer's intent. Let's look at cold calling, for example, like what Dennis mentioned earlier. Let me ask you this. Do you want a salesperson calling you while you're eating dinner or hanging out with your family and friends? No, right? Because you don't have any intentions of buying anything at that point in time. So it's a distraction to you. On the other hand, if you look at other digital marketing tactics or Google, the customers are already looking for your products and services when they search on Google because they have buying intentions. So that's why considering the buyer's intent is important when trying to advertise online. And that's what makes Google a really powerful marketing platform. Next slide, please. So how to properly track conversion? First, what is conversion? Conversion is a term used when a visitor completes a desired action on your website. It could be the number of phone calls, completed sign-up forms, booked appointments, and online sales. So it's basically when you turn a website visitor into a lead or a paying customer. That's what's considered a conversion. And tracking conversion is crucial because you can spend a fortune on online advertising, but without proper tracking, you don't know if the ads are bringing in any paying customers or not. And I've seen businesses that spend a lot of money without proper conversion tracking setup, and it's not good because they're basically flushing money down the drain and they had no clue what happened. So I recommend the tool called Google Tag Manager to properly track conversion. It's what we use here at Collide. It's a free tool that was also created by Google. There are many tutorials online on how to use it. You yourself can do it as a business owner. And this tool basically helps you track sales, how many people signed up using an online form or requested a quote, how many people booked online, tracking phone calls from your website, if a customer downloaded your PDF or your ebook, all the way to what buttons they clicked on your website. So that's how powerful this tool is. So yeah, that's my presentation, and I'll pass it back to Leilani.
Yeah, thank you, Oscar. So now that we've had a glimpse into, the various digital components and spaces, we have one more. Talia, why don't you give us an overview of your slides for, web design, graphic design, and all the amazing stuff that you do?
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Talia Võ, and I'm a web and graphic designer at Collide Digital. So a little bit about me is I graduated from Academy of Art University with an MFA in advertising and then web design and new media. So my first job was working as intern and junior art director at the Baker Street advertising agency. And then I worked as a graphic designer at FPT USA and JobShot in Santa Barbara. And I have been a freelance graphic web and UI UX designer since 2015. Yeah, so right now I am a web designer and graphic designer at Collide. So yeah, next slide, please. So when I work on web projects at the Collide Digital, I usually follow a process or some steps that can help me design a good website successfully, which I believe it really matters to the client's business. And today I would like to share with you some of those useful tips. Yeah, next slide, please. So first of all, we should know the brand. It means we check and review the current branding of the product or services, who's the website we are designing for. We know what kind of project service it offers. We know the color palette, the typographic, logo, visuals, and the message it conveys to the client, the customers. And secondly, so it caters to different devices. It means we should ensure the design is used on different physical sizes of the device, like desktop, tablet, and mobile. And thirdly, our design should have the friendly user interface. It means it means the design should be designed to make it look effortless and make it easy to read for the customer, for the viewers, and direct them to and navigate them to which the content that they are looking for or they are viewing. And the next slide, please. And the next one is think about the viewers when you need to design a website. So who will view the site? What are they looking for, or how do they interact with the site? So when we keep those things in mind, we should have the direction or the guideline when we design the website. And finally, I think also the most important is like we should trust our intuition. When I design a website, I believe that that design can I believe in the design, and it can help the clients, and it is very useful for the for their business. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for. So this is the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Talia. Just a quick note, initially when I was trying to make the presentation for today, my slides were not as cool as Talia's. So shout out to Talia for the beautiful slides. Thank you. So yeah, my name is Leilani Castillo. As I've mentioned, I graduated from San Jose State in 2018. Right out of graduation, I was offered a job where I was interning for a nonprofit. So while I started there, I started off as a fundraiser. So fundraising, I didn't know it when I was doing it, but it has a lot of marketing. So we did a lot of direct mail marketing. We did, events and stuff, and also across all digital spaces. So like email marketing. I managed the social media platforms for the organization for over a year. And then I became the director of development. And as a director of development, I led a lot of cool community-based projects. I led interagency collaborations, and I had the opportunity to come up with various campaigns to supplement the goals of the organization. So COVID happened, and unfortunately, the nonprofit realm got a little bit more unstable than usual. So I decided to, transition into the for-profit industry, I guess, and Collide welcomed me with open arms. So I'm really excited to transfer all of those skills from, my nonprofit work to where I am now, especially with all the digital spaces. So like I said, what I used to do, what basically led me to this position is that I was managing the social media platforms for the nonprofit for a while. So I was doing their Facebook, their Instagram, all of that fun stuff. So what I do here at Collide, I'm the social media strategist. So I do the social media strategy, but also I help with the content strategy. So what's the difference? Social media strategy is made up of key foundational elements, more of like about the planning that align with the business objectives. And these are determined by KPIs, so the key performance indicators. So basically, how are we measuring our success? And what does that success look like? And once we have all of that established, all of those foundational elements solidified, from there, we can create efficient content. So that has more to do with the types of posts, the brand persona and the voice, post distribution, what days you're posting on, how frequently you're posting, key dates like holidays, also establishing a measurement and reporting plan to determine, the social ROI basically is all the work that we're doing and time we're putting into making this content is it showing us the results that we want in accordance to those KPIs that were previously determined? Next slide, please. Just kidding. So again, for the social media strategy, what is your business trying to achieve? So are you trying to increase sales? Are you trying to build your authority? Because maybe you're just a business that's just starting. Do you want more clientele? Whatever your business objective is, that's going to encourage me to come up with a very specific strategy. And where do we start, right? So basically we want to do kind of like an audit of all of your digital spaces, so we can kind of gauge, you know, where we're at, where are some areas of improvement, you know, what are the other people in the industry doing that are doing well, maybe what's not working for them. So then when we do start producing content, we're not just, like Dennis said, shooting in the dark or, you know, throwing something at the wall and hoping that it sticks. So in order for us to kind of start that process, keeping our KPIs in mind, what we do is we conduct a SWOT analysis for your website. And for the other digital spaces, like for your social media accounts, we do a social media audit. So for the SWOT analysis, we'll go to your website. And like I said, we'll gauge, you know, what are you doing well? What are some areas of improvement? What are some areas of opportunities? And what are maybe some threats to be mindful of? So strengths could be that, hey, you have a website, right? You have one, that's a strength. But a weakness could be, you know, maybe not all of your tabs work. So maybe not all of your tabs are linked. Opportunities, maybe if you have like some sort of registration element, like if you have like a service. So maybe if you don't have a registration tab on your website, that could be an opportunity. And threats, that could be other competitors. Also, if, you know, we're in COVID right now, so if your service is kind of more, you know, face-to-face and stuff like that, those are kind of some challenges to keep in mind when moving forward. Also for the social media audit, not only taking a look at your social media platforms, but also your competitors. Usually, if we take a look at your competitors and kind of perform an analysis, and if there's some commonalities, like, hey, all of these competitors are doing this campaign or doing this strategy, that might, you know, be because it's worth, you know, pursuing and worth putting time into. So maybe that could be a similar strategy that we could implement in the future. Not like copying, but just seeing, you know, which strategy is effective and which ones aren't. But also, if you realize that, hey, there are some trends, but if maybe like one of them are doing one, but not all of them, that could also be like an area of opportunity, right? Like if they're not doing it, like maybe let's give it a try and see how it works out. And that's what, you know, tracking the data and seeing how various types of content and ads performs, that's why it's so important. So yeah, now that you've met the team, thank you for giving us your undivided time and attention while we give you an overview of who we are, what we do, and how we do it. Dennis, Stephen, anybody else, do you want to add to anything, you know, how we all work together now that we have an idea of what we do individually? Maybe you can give us a little bit more on how all of those things collide.
See what you did there.
See what I did there?
Good one. Go ahead, Stephen.
So you guys heard all about, you know, our team and everything they do. I think one thing I would like to say is that, you know, when Dennis and I first started, we both were, you know, we were the kind of guys who were very proud of what we do. We were very good at what we do, and we found it very hard to just simply hire people and have them come in and work for us. We, you know, we expect very high quality work from people, but we also expect the people that work for us to also, you know, be able to think independently and think critically as well. So when we, you know, when we brought on Kaylee, Oscar, Talia, and Leilani, we all wanted to make sure that you guys were of the mindset where, you were problem solving, you could think critically. And that's why, each one of you guys are experts in what you do, just as Dennis and I are experts in what we do. And, I would never tell Kaylee like how to make content, and I would never tell Oscar like how to run a Google Ads, So I think, that is a great strategy behind hiring, and also just, how our team has been functioning so well from the get-go. So I really, thank our whole team and Dennis for putting it all together.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really want to stress, if you watched it this far into the webinar, you're obviously interested in Collide Digital and our services. And I totally understand that now is one of those times where there's a lot of uncertainty around economics and the state of the country, and kind of a lot of things are going on. But now, honestly, is one of the best times to invest in your business and look into new ways of getting customers, and not to retreat and be fearful of the uncertainty. Because right now is a time where there's a lot of customers who need services that you offer. And if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not continuing to invest in your great business, then you're going to be left behind by other business. You're going to be passed up by other businesses who are investing. So if you're interested in working with us, we have many, many different services and programs that we offer, and we're more than happy to just have a conversation with you and share more about what we do individually or collectively.
Thanks. Way to wrap it all together. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into our frequently asked questions segment. So each team member is going to kind of share a question or, a challenge that commonly arises doing our work. So, go ahead.
There's questions in the chat.
Oh, there is?
Those.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Perfect.
Some guy asked, you can use those.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with Steven. So for Steven, what's the difference between what Collide does versus a boosted post? I boosted posts in the past, and it did not return any sales.
Mm-hmm. So that's a great question, and it's something that I have to explain very frequently to customers. Boosting a post is great, but it's purely made for. Its primary purpose is to just get more exposure for your post. When you run a targeted Facebook ad, you can actually narrow down your audience and make sure that your post reaches people who are actually interested in it, right? When you boost a post, they give you the option to select the location of your audience, the age, and the gender, but that's pretty much it. When you run a targeted Facebook ad, you're able to use data from your business that's already available and find more people who have a higher chance of wanting to check out your post, click your link, or watch your entire video. So you save a lot of money on on advertising because you're not trying to reach people who are not interested at all.
Thank you, Stephen. And this one's for Kaylee. Kaylee, can you speak more about maybe your research strategy? How are you able to edit for so many different industries? Should a clients be concerned about working with a singular focused agency versus collaborative?
Well, to start with the end, I think, no, it's really in a client's best interest to work with a more holistic agency, because as I said before, no piece of content exists in a vacuum unto itself. You need, not only do you need good content, you need someone who is proficient with like SEO research. You need to have a great social media strategist to make sure that your content's actually getting out there. You need to ideally look at things like email marketing, automations, things like that, because that's another form of content that can also help to sort of like draw the rest of your content sort of back in together and then better distribute it. I feel like there were like kind of three questions in that question. What was the first one? It was about research strategy.
Right? Sorry, yeah. So can you just tell us a little bit more about your research strategy?
Yeah, okay, good question, because I loved me some research. Like all things, it kind of starts, again, thinking with your heart. What are real problems people have? Like, you can spend all day like typing words into keyword research tools, but unless you understand the intent and the feelings behind it, you're not going to get very far. One of my favorite things to do is to just try and find people where they are. I spend a lot of time creeping Reddit, Quora, social media, seeing what's new on blog posts, even just, Googling something and seeing what comes up and sort of letting the internet lead you into different places, seeing what has a lot of comments, a lot of concerns, questions that people are asking. If people are asking questions, it's because they need answers. If you can create the content that answers those questions, you've done something valuable to people. And, 82% of them will really appreciate that. Sorry, there's a second question in there too.
Did you, how are you able to edit for so many different industries?
Oh, in my case, I'm very lucky having had such an incredibly diverse work experience. I personally really enjoy being a student of things and learning things, sort of picking them up very quickly. We have clients that range from everything from like health and wellness to accounting. I have some work experience in a lot of those areas, but a lot of it really comes down to just having a real sort of student mindset. Studying philosophy was really great for this. You just want to learn, just kind of accept that you don't know anything, and try to learn as much as you can. I really like to talk to our clients personally, find out sort of who they're dealing with, even like what their day is like, what their products like, things that they're going through. And that helps you get kind of immersed in the industry itself, because every industry does have kind of a different voice or a different sort of approach in the way that it handles things. And you need to be a real student of that industry first to sort of understand the approach and the voice before, you then try to take it on for yourself. In terms of the mechanics of editing, I studied a lot of English in university, which was tremendous. I've written more about Shakespeare than anyone should ever have to. And so you get very good over time at just niching down a very proficient editing process, being a real stickler for grammar, but then also always putting yourself in the mindset of a person with a problem, and every paragraph asking, how did this paragraph help me solve this problem? Did I get anything useful out of this content? And if you can't say emphatically and truthfully yes, then you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to talk to the writer, you need to do some more research, and you just need to sort of continue editing. So to sort of answer that much more succinctly, is you just have to be a real sort of student of the industry and just try to soak up absolutely as much as you can and do away with your own preconceived notions for the way you think things should be, and look at the way the audience needs things to be, and then do it that way.
Beautiful. And let's go to Oscar. Oscar, how did you become self-taught? What resources did you use to learn digital marketing?
How did I become self-taught? I would say I started when I was a kid. I was one of those kids who was obsessed with problem solving. I started playing chess at a very young age. I started beating older people. And what I realized is I was always thinking about 10 steps ahead of them. And when I asked them, why can't you beat me? And they said, because I'm only thinking about the next step. They weren't thinking ahead. So I was like, okay. And then that carried through to my teenager years, and up to today. I'm always looking for the next solution. Like, how do I solve this problem? And I'm the type of person that would just go online and try to solve that problem. And how I taught myself is basically out of just curiosity. I'm a very curious person. I'm very passionately curious. So if something is interesting, I would research it online, I would do it, and then I would apply it right away. And that's kind of what I did to our clients here at Collide. I would just figure out what the problems are, and in terms of PPC and other things. So I would just Google. I would not stop until I find the answer on Google. So along the way, I would start reading articles, blogs, and online courses. And from there, I started learning a lot. And that's how I did it.
Thank you. And for Talia, how are you able to adapt to different design styles for different industries?
Yeah, actually, first of all, I should look at the branding of the client. And then I used their branding, like the color palette, typography, and everything about the branding to adapt to the website.
And do you have a design style that you usually steer towards?
Yeah, actually, the design style that I usually go with is about the simple and clean. It is like Scandinavian design stuff. So yeah, that is what I'm usually looking for when I design for the website.
Beautiful. And I guess this one's for me. What tool does Collide use to automate social media? So the two predominant ones that we use to schedule posts, we use Agora Pulse and we use Hootsuite. Both are pretty easy. I know if you want to manage one account, it's free, but if you want to manage more, there's a cost. I like Hootsuite and Agora Pulse for different reasons. I like Hootsuite because when you go to make a post with a link, for example, usually some of those links can be super long and not aesthetically pleasing. So Hootsuite lets you kind of condense the link into a smaller link. And Agora Pulse is nice because if you're managing it and sharing that kind of posting responsibility, you can assign certain posts. So you can kind of go back and forth and be more collaborative in the posting. And Dennis, do you have any other frequently asked questions that come up for you? Oh, you're muted, you're muted.
So there's not really much more frequently asked questions. I would like to basically wrap up this webinar by thanking Stephen, Kaylee, Oscar, Talia, and Leilani for being great participants and sharing with our viewers all the things that you guys do here at Collide Digital. Again, like Stephen and I have said to you guys, we're really proud of everything you guys do, and we're really proud to be working with you guys to help small business owners get the digital marketing that they totally deserve. So thank you for everyone for watching this whole entire webinar. If you got it, like I said, this far, thank you. We really appreciate it. And we hope to bring more content like this to you guys for you guys to enjoy.
Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Hey
everyone.
guys, thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much.